Welcome back, everyone, to the Deep Dive. This time, we're going to really dig deep into something a lot of you have been asking about, starting a blog.
It's a great topic.
It is. And, everyone has something they're passionate about, something they want to share with the world, and a blog can be a great way to do that.
It can be, yeah.
So, to help us navigate this world, we're going to be using a source called How to Rank Your Blog.
That's right, by Teamsism.
Exactly. And this source is amazing. I mean, it's packed with practical tips, but also it goes into legal stuff, which I thought was really interesting. We're going to get into all of that, SEO, social media, even some legal considerations. It's everything a new blogger needs to know.
Yeah, we'll break it all down for you. We're going to start with the basics. The source actually talks about two main approaches to growing your blog, the organic way and the direct way.
Okay, 2 paths to blogging glory. I'm intrigued. What's the difference?
Well, the organic way is all about building a strong foundation, right? You create high-quality content that attracts readers naturally through search engine optimization.
Oh, SEO.
SEO, exactly. And it's a longer process. It's slower, but it's sustainable.
Got it. So it's like the tortoise, not the hare. Yeah. Slow and steady wins the race. What about the direct way? What's that all about?
That's more about actively driving traffic to your blog, leveraging things like social media, email lists, and collaborations.
Okay, so getting the word out there. Kind of like marketing your blog.
Exactly. And what's interesting is that the source emphasizes that both of these approaches are important. It's not either. It's about finding the right balance for you.
Yeah, that makes sense, right? You need a great blog that people can find, but then you also need to spread the word and get those readers in.
Absolutely.
But before we get to all the exciting stuff like SEO and social media, there's something else we need to talk about. The legal side of blogging.
Yes, that's essential.
I have to admit, I was a little surprised by this. I always thought blogging was all about free speech. Sharing your thoughts with the world. Are there really legal things we need to worry about?
Well, to an extent, yes, you are right. But there are some important legal considerations, especially if you want to build a professional and trustworthy blog.
Okay, I'm all ears. What kind of legal landmines do we need to avoid as new bloggers?
Well, intellectual property is a big one, copyright specifically. You can't just grab any image or music snippet you find online and use it on your blog.
So, no using my favorite band's latest hit as my blog's theme song.
Probably not, no. Not without their permission. You need to have the rights to use content that isn't yours, whether that's through licensing or using royalty-free sources or something like Creative Commons.
Okay, respecting copyright laws. Makes sense. What else?
Privacy policies are also crucial. If you're collecting any kind of user data, like email addresses for a newsletter.
You need to let people know what you're doing with their info, right? Be transparent.
Exactly. And this is actually something that the source emphasizes quite a bit. Transparency is key.
And what about all those sponsored posts we see everywhere these days? Do those have any legal implications?
Absolutely. If you're getting paid to promote a product or service, or if you're using affiliate links that earn you a commission, you need to be upfront about that.
Okay, so no secretly sneaking in affiliate links and pretending they're just friendly recommendations.
No, not at all. The FTC has specific guidelines for this sort of thing, so you need to do your research and stay compliant.
FTC, that's the Federal Trade Commission, right?
That's correct.
Okay, so we've got copyright, privacy policies, disclosures for sponsored content. Anything else on the legal front?
Well, just remember that even in the online world, words have consequences.
Interesting.
Avoid publishing false or misleading information, especially when it comes to sensitive topics.
So double check our facts and be mindful of what we're putting out there.
Exactly. Cite your sources, be accurate, and always try to be ethical and responsible with your content.
Got it. Fact check, cite sources, and remember that our words have power. Okay, I think we've covered the legal stuff pretty well. So now let's get to the fun part, SEO. Tell me, what's the secret to getting Google to notice our amazing blog?
SEO is all about understanding how search engines work. It's like speaking Google's language. You're helping Google understand what your blog is about and why it should rank high in search results.
Okay, so we need to make Google our new best friend. How do we do that?
Well, it starts with keyword research, understanding what people are actually searching for.
Keywords, got it.
There are tools like Google Keyword Planner that can help you uncover those golden nuggets, the words and phrases people are using when they're looking for information.
So once we found those magic words, What do we do with them? Sprinkle them all over our blog posts.
You want to use them strategically, weave them naturally into your content, but don't overdo it.
Google's smarter than that, huh?
Exactly. Google can tell if you're just stuffing keywords in there unnaturally. You want to create valuable, informative content that genuinely helps people.
That makes sense. Content is king, after all.
It is, and when it comes to SEO, longer is often better. Aim for at least 1,000 to 2,000 words, or even more if the topic calls for it.
So those short and sweet 300-word blog posts aren't going to cut it.
They might be fine for social media, but for SEO and establishing your blog as an authority, longer, in-depth articles are better.
Okay, longer content, got it. What else does Google look at when it's deciding which blogs deserve to be at the top of the search results?
It pays attention to first impressions, your titles and descriptions.
So those are like the headlines that are going to make people want to click.
Exactly. And you want to make sure they're compelling and that they include your keywords. And whatever you do, stay away from black hat SEO tactics.
Black hat SEO. Sounds a bit shady. What is that?
Those are like shortcuts or tricks that might give you a temporary boost, but they're against Google's guidelines.
So, not worth the risk.
Definitely not.
Okay, we'll stick to the ethical side of SEO. No black hats for us.
Good. Now let's talk about something that can really boost your ranking. Backlinks.
Backlinks. Is that when someone leaves a comment on your blog post saying, "Great post"?
It's similar, in a way, but a backlink is when another website links to your blog.
Okay. So it's like they're giving you a vote of confidence saying, hey, this blog is worth checking out.
Exactly. And Google sees those backlinks as a sign that your blog is credible and trustworthy.
Makes sense. So how do we get these magical backlinks? Go around begging other websites to link to us?
You don't have to beg. There are ethical ways to build backlinks. One great strategy is guest blogging on reputable websites.
So writing articles for other blogs in our niche.
Exactly. And when you do that, you get to showcase your expertise to a new audience and then subtly point them back to your own blog.
Clever. So guest blogging, are there other ways to get backlinks?
Yeah. Participating in online communities, collaborating with influencers, even leaving insightful comments on other blogs with a link back to your own.
Okay, so building relationships and being part of the online conversation.
It's all about creating valuable content and connections.
Makes sense. Now, before we get too deep into those backlinking strategies, I want to talk about the blog itself, the design, the layout. Does that matter?
It does. Your blog is your online home. You want it to be welcoming, easy to navigate, but also legally sound.
Wait, we're back to the legal stuff again.
Yep, it's that important. Make sure you have those privacy policies and cookie disclosures in place. And don't forget about copyright.
Okay, so dotting our I's and crossing our At's legally.
Exactly. And it's not just about avoiding legal trouble, it's about building trust.
Trust with our readers and trust with Google, right?
Exactly.
So we've got our legal ducks in a row. We're creating high-quality content with the right keywords, and we're building those all-important backlinks. What's next on this blogging journey?
Now it's time to bring in those readers.
Okay, let's talk about that.
This is where the direct way comes in.
Yeah.
All those strategies for actively driving traffic to your blog.
Okay, I'm ready. Let's dive into the direct way.
Let's do it.
All right, I'm excited to hear all about this. We're going to be talking about social media and all sorts of other strategies, right?
Right, and we'll cover all of that and more when we come back.
Awesome. Looking forward to it.
All right, so where were we? Ah, yes, the direct way.
Yeah.
This is all about getting your blog out there in front of as many eyeballs as possible, and one of the best ways to do that is through social media.
Right, social media. Everyone's on it these days.
Exactly. Platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter, they can all be powerful tools for driving traffic to your blog.
Okay, so how do we do it? Do we just blast the same link to our latest blog post on every platform?
Not quite. You have to tailor your message for each platform and its unique audience. Think about the kind of content that performs well in each space.
So like short and catchy videos for TikTok.
Exactly. Beautiful, eye-catching visuals for Instagram.
And thought-provoking discussions for Twitter.
You got it. And don't forget about Instagram and Facebook stories. They're great for quick behind-the-scenes glimpses into your blog's world.
So like a sneak peek. Kind of like showing the personality behind the blog.
Exactly. And if your blog has a strong visual element, like if you're writing about food or fashion or travel, then Pinterest is your best friend.
Pinterest, the visual search engine.
That's right. People go to Pinterest to find inspiration, to discover new things. So create those beautiful, eye-catching pins that link back to your blog posts.
Pins. Got it.
Huh.
So we've talked about social media. What other ways can we connect with readers and bring them to our blog?
Well, video marketing is becoming increasingly important. Platforms like YouTube and even Facebook are great for repurposing your blog content into a different format.
Interesting. So we can take our blog posts and turn them into videos.
Exactly. And you can do all sorts of things. You can summarize the key points, add visuals, demonstrations, or even just record yourself chatting about the topic.
I like that idea. It's one thing to read a blog post, but it's another thing to actually see and hear the person behind the blog talking about what they're passionate about.
Exactly. And just like your blog posts, don't forget to optimize those videos for search. Use keywords in your titles, descriptions, and tags so people can easily find them.
SEO for videos. Got it. But what if someone watches our video and wants even more information?
That's where the magic happens. Make sure you include a link to the full blog post in your video description. Or, even better, put a call to action at the end of the video.
Ah, so it's all about creating a seamless experience, right?
Both.
Guiding people from the video to the blog post.
Exactly. Speaking of connections, let's talk about email marketing.
Email marketing. Isn't that a bit old school?
You might think so, but trust me, it's still one of the best ways to build a loyal audience.
Okay, I'm listening.
Hmm.
How do we make email marketing work?
First, you need to encourage people to sign up for your email list. Offer something valuable in exchange.
Like what?
It could be exclusive content, a freebie, or even just the promise of regular updates from your blog.
Okay, so give them a reason to subscribe. And then,
Once you have that list, treat it like gold. Don't spam people, but do send regular emails with links back to your latest blog posts.
so it's about building that direct relationship with readers and keeping them engaged.
Exactly. And here's something else to consider. Quora and Reddit.
Okay, I've heard of those platforms, but how do they work for bloggers?
Quora is all about questions and answers. People go there to ask questions and get answers from experts.
So we can find questions related to our blog's niche and answer them.
Exactly. And if it makes sense, you can naturally weave in a link back to your blog for even more information.
So we're not just dropping links everywhere, we're actually providing value and establishing ourselves as experts.
Exactly. Now, Reddit's a bit different. It's a collection of online communities called subreddits. You need to understand that Reddit has a strong culture of authenticity. They don't like blatant self-promotion.
So no spamming Reddit with links to our blog.
Exactly. The key is to become a valued member of those communities. Participate, be helpful, and build relationships before you even think about mentioning your blog.
So it's all about building trust first.
Absolutely. Now let's move on to Medium. Have you heard of it?
Yeah, I've seen some great articles on there. How can Medium help us grow our blog?
Medium is a fantastic platform for showcasing your writing and attracting new readers. You can repurpose some of your best blog content and publish it on Medium.
Ah, so it's like giving our blog posts a second life, reaching a new audience.
Exactly. And here's the strategic part. When you publish on Medium, include a read more link back to the original post on your blog.
So we're using Medium to drive traffic back to our main site.
Exactly. Think of Medium as a content amplifier.
I like that. Okay, what else?
Downloadable resources.
Oh yeah, I've seen those on other blogs like ebooks and checklists and things like that.
Exactly. These are often called lead magnets. They're designed to attract potential readers and capture their contact information.
So we offer something valuable in exchange for their email address.
Exactly. And you can promote these lead magnets on your social media channels, mention them in your blog posts, or even create dedicated landing pages on your website.
Sounds like there are a lot of ways to get those lead magnets in front of the right people.
Exactly. Now let's switch gears again. Have you ever thought about incorporating podcasts into your blog strategy?
Podcasts.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Everyone seems to be listening to podcasts these days.
It's true, and they can be a great way to connect with a new audience.
But how does that tie into our blog?
Well, you could create your own podcast that's closely aligned with your blog's niche.
Ah, so it's like an audio extension of our blog.
Exactly. You can talk about your blog topics in more detail, interview experts, share personal experiences, or even answer listener questions. And in each episode, make sure to mention your blog and encourage listeners to check it out.
So it's a win-win. The podcast promotes the blog, and the blog provides content for the podcast.
Exactly. And if you're not ready to launch your own podcast, you can always guest on other podcasts that are relevant to your niche.
Ah, so it's like guest blogging, but in audio format.
Exactly. Be prepared to talk about your blog and share a specific blog post that's relevant to the podcast's topic. You can even offer a special discount code for listeners.
Great idea. Okay, podcast check. What else?
Let's talk about content syndication.
Content syndication, what's that?
It's the process of republishing your blog content on other platforms.
So we're giving our blog posts a second life.
Exactly. Platforms like Medium and LinkedIn have huge audiences and strong search engine presence.
But aren't we just giving away our content for free?
Not really. The key is to always include a read more link back to the original post on your blog. You're using these other platforms to drive traffic back to your main site.
Makes sense. And I guess it also helps with our SEO, right? Getting more backlinks.
Exactly. It's a win-win. Now, have you ever heard of Google Discover?
Vaguely. Refresh my memory.
It's a personalized feed of content that Google shows to users on their mobile devices. Think of it as Google's way of suggesting content that they think you'll find interesting.
Okay, so how do we get our blog featured on Google Discover?
Well, there's no guarantee, but there are things you can do to increase your chances. Use high-quality images, write engaging headlines, and focus on topics that are trending or relevant to your audience's interests.
So basically just create amazing content.
Exactly. And one last thing to mention, industry directories.
Industry directories.
Yeah.
Sounds a bit boring.
They might not be the most glamorous strategy, but they can be a valuable source of traffic and backlinks. Find directories that are relevant to your blog's niche and submit your site to them.
So it's like being listed in the yellow pages, but for the online world.
You got it. And a lot of those directories allow you to include a link back to your website, which helps with your SEO.
Backlinks again. Okay, we've covered a lot in this deep dive. Social media, video marketing, email lists, Quora, Reddit, Medium, lead magnets, podcasts, content syndication, Google Discover, and industry directories. I'm exhausted.
It's a lot, I know. But the important thing is to find the strategies that work best for you and your blog.
That's a good point. There's no need to do everything at once. Start small and experiment.
Exactly. And remember, building a successful blog takes time. Be patient, be consistent, and most importantly, have fun.
Have fun. I like that.
Yeah.
It's easy to forget that sometimes when you get caught up in all the details.
Absolutely. At the end of the day, blogging should be something you enjoy.
Okay, so we've covered a ton of strategies for promoting our blog, but I think it's important to step back for a moment and remember the heart of it all. The content itself.
Agreed. Content is king.
What advice would you give to someone who's just starting out and trying to find their voice?
I'd say write about what you're passionate about. Let your personality shine through.
So be authentic, be yourself.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to experiment. Try different formats, different styles, different topics. See what resonates with your audience.
That's great advice. And what about the community aspect of blogging? How important is it to connect with other bloggers?
It's invaluable. Connect with other bloggers in your niche. Share ideas, support each other, collaborate. It's so much more rewarding than trying to do everything on your own.
I love that. Community over competition.
Absolutely. Now, any last words of wisdom for our listeners out there who are ready to embark on their blogging journey?
Words of wisdom. What would I say? Don't be afraid to fail. It's all part of the process.
That's a good one.
And learn from others. There are so many amazing resources and communities out there.
Absolutely. Don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Blogging can be a lonely journey sometimes, but it doesn't have to be.
No, you're not alone. And the most important thing, don't give up. It takes time to build a successful blog, but if you're passionate and persistent, you can achieve amazing things.
Yeah, and it's funny because we talk about all these external things, right? Social media, SEO, backlinks. But at the end of the day, it really comes down to the content itself.
Yeah, the heart of the blog.
Exactly. That's what's going to keep people coming back for more.
Absolutely. So what advice would you give to someone who's just starting out? They've got this great idea for a blog. They're excited to share their passion with the world, but maybe they're feeling a bit overwhelmed.
I would say, don't overthink it. Just start writing.
Just start writing.
Yeah, find your voice.
Yeah.
Let your personality shine through.
So be authentic, be yourself. Don't try to be someone you're not. Exactly. And don't be afraid to experiment. Try different things, see what works.
Yeah, play around with different formats, different styles, different topics.
Exactly. And remember, it's a journey. It takes time to build a successful blog.
It does. It does. It's not going to happen overnight.
Right. Be patient, be consistent, and most importantly, have fun.
Have fun. That's key. And speaking of community, I think it's important to mention that you don't have to do this alone. There's a whole community of bloggers out there.
Absolutely. Connect with other bloggers, share ideas, support each other.
Yeah, collaborate. It's so much more rewarding than trying to do everything on your own.
Exactly.
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of blogging, any final words of wisdom for our aspiring bloggers out there?
Words of wisdom.
Right.
Well, I think we've covered a lot of great strategies and tips. But if I had to leave you with one thought, it would be this. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Share your passion, share your voice, and most importantly, don't give up.
Don't give up.
Yeah.
I love that. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Exactly. And if you're persistent, you're passionate, you're creating great content, and you're connecting with your audience, success will follow.
Beautifully said. And that wraps up our deep dive into the world of blogging. Hopefully you feel inspired and ready to get started.
And remember, this is just the beginning. There's so much more to learn and explore.
Absolutely. So keep learning, keep growing, keep experimenting, and most importantly, have fun.
Have fun.
Thanks for joining us, and until next time, happy blogging.